Hey, all you trash to treasure creative arts kids out there. Welcome to Project One. This is our June 1st first class together. And I don't want you to think of what we're going to be doing here in Trash to Treasure as being in a class. I'm not taking a grade. There's no right or wrong to how you do anything here. We're just going to have some fun together over the next 2 weeks, making a lot of different kind of out of the box, if you will, things from some of this trash we've all been collecting these months that we've been at home. So today's project, we are going to be making what I'm calling pocket cards. Let me show you a few different ones. And you can send these to a friend, a relative, whatever you want to do. But think of it, instead of going to the store and buying somebody a greeting card that Hallmark made, you're going to be making a card and sending it that you've made yourself. These are really easy. We're going to create a little pocket out of our newspaper, and then we're going to create the little card that goes into the pocket, and you can get ready to send these to whoever you like. So here's an example. Here's one that's kind of interesting, done in the lavender paints. The little shape of the card is sort of like an ice cream cone. Then we have a couple of smaller. I did this one in yellows. This reminds me of Sunshine and Lemonade. That one does. And then my little tiny one here, that cute in the blues and greens. Here we go. So we're going to get started, and we need some supplies. So let me make sure that you've got everything you're going to need to do this one today. Obviously, we're going to need some newspaper to make the envelope part. So we're going to have our newspaper. We're going to need some paper plates because the card part that you'll write on is made out of the center of the paper plate. You're going to need some glue or tape. You could do Elmer's glue. You could do hot glue. If you do, you want to be really careful. If you've ever worked with hot glue, it gets hot. So we want to be careful if we're going to use the hot glue. You could also use some kind of tape to create the envelope. This is like a little decorative scrapbooking washi tape. You could do duct tape, masking tape. So you want to have decided your glue or tape that you're going to use. Newspaper, paper plate, our glue or tape, and then what color are we going to paint on it? You know, you don't actually have to put any paint on them at all if you don't want to. That's your choice. There is nothing right or wrong about anything we're doing. Just having some fun with it. Now, I did 4 examples in these colors, but I'm thinking the one I'm going to make with you right now, I think I'm going to go ahead and get something started for my dad for Father's Day, since that's coming up in June. And my dad is a big fan of blue, so I've got some different shades of blue paint. And I think he'll like that, and I'm going to work with my blues today. Whatever you like, you're good to go. So let's get started with this project. I'll give you a minute if you need to pause and go collect, make sure you've got the right materials. Again, newspaper, paper plates, your glue or tape that you're going to put the envelope together with. You want to make sure you've got some little, paint brushes of some kind. I like the sponge. I think it goes on nicely. And then whatever paint colors you're going to do these in. So if you need to collect your materials, go do that now, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we've got all our materials ready. You want to be sure that you've got something protective down on the surface you're working from. I'm in the floor. I'm very comfortable working in the floor. You may be at a table. Always be sure that you've got a lot of protection down. You don't want to get anything on a carpet or a table or something. So step 1, I've laid out quite a bit of newspaper just as my protection. Now, I got to decide how big my card's going to be. I'm going to do one a little bit bigger here. This one is about 5 inches across. I didn't use a ruler, kids. You can if you want to. I just kind of looked at that and said, yeah, I'm going to do one about 5 inches. So I have layered up. There are 4 layers of newspaper here total. 1, 2, 3, 4. And all I'm going to do is make sure these are stacked up nice and neat. And I'm back here on the comics. You can use whatever. And I am very neatly, because you want it to have a nice look about it. And I'm just neatly going to cut up the side of this newspaper, all 4 layers on top of each other. all 4 layers on top of each other, kids. And then I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to make sure, again, I've stacked it really neatly here. And then I'm going to come in and cut across. There we go. Get rid of what I'm not going to use. I don't need to have a lot of extra stuff in front of me. And basically, this is going to end up making 2 pocket envelopes in a little bit. So I'm going to set these other 2 layers aside now. And these envelopes are 2 layers of newspaper. You want it to be a little bit thicker than just one, folks, or it's just going to be very thin and might be more likely to fall apart on you. So I do double layers. And once I have gotten those, I'm going to take a little, just this Elmer's glue. This is not Elmer's glue brand. And I am going to put a little glue in here in the center and glue these 2 layers together. And in fact, I'll go up about that far. I'm going to snip some of that off at the top. And just neatly, you want to, make sure you get the edges, get some in the center. You know the old saying, with glue, a little dab will do. Do you remember that from probably elementary school? That is true. If you're working with Elmer's, you don't want to overdo it, so you got a big bunch of gloppy glue everywhere. So I'm just going to, a thin little circular, and I'm getting in the edges and the corners. And then I'm going to come in and just neatly, again, neatness, you want it to look nice for the person you're giving it to. And I'm neatly going to put that second layer on top, okay? And just smooth it down. With newspaper, newspaper is very thin, as you can tell. You got to be a little bit delicate with newspaper. You don't want to be, ripping through here. You're going to tear it. So take your time, okay? And now I know those are neatly glued. It feels a little moist. When you put glue on a newspaper, it's going to feel a little bit moist till it dries. And then I'm going to decide how deep I want it to be. And I think I'll go a little bit deeper than this one just to do something different. So I'm going to fold that up. So if you can see this from home, I'm going to be cutting the top off right here. But my pocket's going to be that big, okay? Now you think about this. If I come in and glue all in here, folks, I don't have anywhere to put my card now. So I'm just going to glue along the edge on the inside, and that's going to create me that pocket space. So again, very neatly along the edge. Again, you could be using hot glue to do this. You could use your tape. Elmer's, I think, is a great choice. And in here in this crease, I'm going to put a little bit there too. Just a little bit. Remember, a little dab will do ya. And again, as we're creating the pocket, you want to be sure you don't have any in the center here that's going to close up your pocket. Here we go. And I'm going to smooth this out. Get it nice and smooth, and I've got a little bit on the inside there. And again, I'm keeping that pocket nice and open. And you know what? I'm going to give this a few minutes to dry, okay? And I'm going to decide, how do I want this top part? All of mine, if you can see, there's a little top part. You don't have to do it that way. You can. I like the way that looks. If you want it all to be straight across, you could do that too. But I like a little thing at the top. So I've got a line here from this cartoon, and I'm just going to snip across there. And that's going to be my top. Now, I didn't get any glue there yet. So I'm going to go here. And I'm going to go here, and again, I'm just being neat and careful. And seal that up. Okay. And then, you know what? You can leave it straight across like that. You can do it so it's actually going to fold over. Do you like that look? I like it up. I think it gives it sort of a decorative look, but I just think that shape is boring. So I'm going to take my scissors, and like I did with this one, I'm freehanding. If you're more comfortable drawing it out with a pencil first, you do that. Me, I'm just going to freehand this sucker a little bit here and just create a little arch along the top. And again, I am freehanding this. feel free to draw it if that makes you more comfortable. All right. So, you know what? I think this is actually a little bit too tall. I'm going to trim that down just a little bit more. And again, I am freehanding. Draw it out, you know, with pencil if you like. Now, here's my pocket. Can you believe how easy that was? Super easy. And now I'm going to come in, and this top part that's not going to be having the card, I'm going to seal that up. What's our rule? With glue, a little dab will do. Now, I want to give this a few minutes to dry. Even if you've used hot glue, you know, you would have your tape along the edge, and I'll do one like that as well. I want to set this to dry. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to get your pocket created and give it a few minutes to dry, and then we'll come back. All right, so we've got our pocket. We've given it some time to dry and firm up, get all those edges so it's a nice, proper pocket. We're ready to paint this thing now. If you got some colors in mind you want to use, now let's be honest. If you want it to look really, really natural and organic, you don't have to paint it at all. It could just be a newspaper pocket. I like that. But for my dad, as I said, for Father's Day, I'm gonna go with these blues, and I think it's gonna be beautiful. Again, I did some lavender, some red, whatever you like. Not a right or wrong here, kids. I'm gonna be using some foam brushes and a few different little shades of blue and paint this thing. So, you ready? You got your colors? Let's get to painting, and then we'll come right back. All right, we're back. Poe has been my great assistant here. He is helping me with this. I did my blue painting. Here's what I came up with. I did some little stripes today, thinking, you know, Father's Day, that my dad might like that. So once you finished your painting and it's dry, you're ready to start creating that card part that is going to go down inside the fabulous newspaper pocket. And that, guys, every time I'm just using a plain old paper plate, the middle of that creates the center. The question is, what shape do you want it to be? You know, I keep using the term freehand. Freehand means I'm not drawing it out with a pencil or anything first. I'm just getting my scissors and cutting. And that's what I like about these, is that it is, you know, very natural looking. It's not perfect, and I think that's great. I do want to make sure, as I start cutting this paper plate, that the size I'm cutting it is going to fit down inside that pocket. So I might have to measure up a little bit here with my hand, that what I'm cutting is going to fit inside. And let's just test it. And again, I just play with it a little bit. Let's see. Hey, what the size I'm going for here does seem to fit in there really well. So why don't I try to do something that's a little bit more, maybe more of an oval today? You can do rectangle, square. I did this one that's sort of a circle. Again, they're all free-handed. I did one while I was waiting for that paint to dry. This is one I did with the tape around the edge. That's a new one that's a little bit different. And I thought maybe my mother or a lady would like that. Think about some of the washi tape or things you might have. I cut the card in that shape. So play around with how you are cutting the card from that paper plate, what shape you want. And of course, be sure you know that it's gonna fit inside. Let's try that, give you a few minutes to shape out how it's gonna go in, and we'll be right back. All right, so we've got that fabulous card cut out of our paper plate. This is what I came up with for my dad's Father's Day pocket card. And again, I just measured to make sure it'll go down in there. So we're finished, guys. You're ready to write a message to a friend or relative and give them a neat little trash to treasure project that is easy to do and pretty fun, I think. I hope you've enjoyed that today. Quick review: 2 layers of our newspaper folded and glued or taped on the edge so we leave that pocket open. We're gonna paint it if we like, a color for a friend, a color you like, and then cut our pocket card out of our paper plate, make sure it's gonna fit down in there, and voila, you're gonna have something really interesting and different to share with your friends and family. Hey, come back tomorrow. We'll have another fabulous Trash to Treasure project. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.